Have you ever wondered why some men barely say a word, yet women lean in closer, while others do everything right and still get ignored? Here's the twist. Attraction isn't built on the things you think, looks, money, or charm. It's built on something far deeper, something the Stoics understood thousands of years ago. And today, I'll show you how Stoic psychology reveals what really pulls women toward you, even when you say nothing at all. Stick with me, because the final reason will flip the way you think about attraction forever. So, here's the question. Why do women chase men who seem unbothered, but get bored when a man tries too hard? What's happening beneath the surface? To answer, we need to borrow the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca, men who never wrote about dating, but accidentally discovered timeless truths about attraction. Let's talk about something powerful, something that changes the way women see you without you ever having to chase, beg, or explain yourself. It's the calm center, the state the Stoics called ataraxia, freedom from disturbance. Now, don't let that word intimidate you. Ataraxia isn't about being emotionless, and it isn't about pretending you don't care. It's about being so grounded in who you are that no storm can shake you. When a woman looks at you, she sees a man who doesn't lose himself in chaos. And believe me, that is magnetic. But let's make this real. Picture two men in the exact same situation. Man number one has been seeing a woman he really likes. He sends her a message, maybe something sweet, maybe something funny, but she doesn't reply. An hour goes by, then 3, then the whole day. And what happens? His mind becomes a battlefield. He starts overthinking. Did I say something wrong? Did she lose interest? Is she talking to someone else? His heart races, his stomach sinks, and suddenly every other part of his life feels smaller. Work doesn't matter. The gym doesn't matter. Even hanging with friends doesn't feel right. All he can think about is that little gray check mark or the seen notification with no reply. Now let's look at man number 2. Same situation. He texts a woman he likes, and she doesn't respond. An hour goes by, 3 hours a day. But he doesn't spiral. He notices the thought, sure, he's human. But then he reminds himself, her silence doesn't define me. Her response isn't proof of my worth. My value is in how I live, not how she replies. And then he goes about his life. He hits the gym. He finishes his work. He laughs with his friends. He keeps moving forward. Here's the difference. The first man drowns in disturbance. The second man stays in his calm center. One loses control, the other owns it. And women can feel that difference instantly. Because here's the truth. Overthinking is heavy. When you spiral, it's not just in your head. It shows in your body language. It leaks through your tone of voice. Even in silence, a woman can feel that tension. And tension that comes from insecurity pushes her away. But relief, real relief, comes when you no longer need her validation to breathe. Think about how freeing that is. Imagine not being chained to the outcome of one text, one call, or one date. Imagine waking up with peace in your chest, knowing your worth is untouchable. That peace is what the Stoics chased. That peace is what women lean toward. And here's where the magic happens. When you stand in your calm center, you're not just protecting yourself. You're also creating a different kind of space for her. Around you, she doesn't feel the pressure to reply perfectly. She doesn't feel the weight of your expectations. Instead, she feels something rare, safety. She can breathe around you. She can be herself. And that safety is irresistible. Now, let's pause for a moment, because I know what some of you are thinking. But if I don't react, won't she think I don't care? Won't she move on to someone else? That fear is natural, but it's also the trap. Because the moment you start chasing, she feels it. She senses that you've placed her at the center of your emotional world, and suddenly the attraction dies. Remember this, calm doesn't mean careless. It means controlled. You can like her, you can value her, but you don't collapse without her. That balance is rare. That balance is powerful. The payoff is simple. Women are drawn to men who are steady, not shaky. They lean toward the calm, not the chaos. It's not about having the perfect words or the flashiest lifestyle. It's about radiating a peace that says, I'm good no matter what happens. And here's the secret the Stoics left us. When you master your inner state, you stop being needy and start being magnetic. The first man, the one who spiraled, becomes forgettable because he blends into the noise of every other man chasing approval. The second man, the one who stayed grounded, becomes unforgettable because calm is rare and rare is valuable. So the next time you find yourself staring at a phone, waiting, refreshing, overanalyzing, remember this. You don't need to win her attention to be enough. You only need to return to your calm center. That's where your true power lies. Because at the end of the day, attraction isn't about the words you say or the things you buy. It's about the energy you carry. And the calm center, the freedom from disturbance, is the foundation of energy that women cannot resist. Now, let's clear up one of the biggest misunderstandings about attraction and Stoicism. Because when I say stay calm, stay centered, a lot of men swing too far in the other direction. They think detachment means shutting down, going cold, acting like they don't care at all. But here's the truth. Being ice cold doesn't attract women, it repels them. Attraction is about balance. Too cold, and you disappear from her radar. Too hot, and you burn her out. The magic isn't in extremes, it's in the middle. It's in what I call controlled fire. Let me paint this picture for you. Imagine a blazing bonfire in the middle of a dry forest. It's loud, wild, uncontrollable. Everyone runs from it because it threatens to destroy everything in its path. That's what happens when you overwhelm a woman with desperate energy, constant texting, needing reassurance, trying to force things. It's too much, too soon, and she pulls away for her own safety. Now, imagine the opposite. A pile of cold ashes, no flame, no warmth, nothing to feel. You can stand next to it for hours, but it gives you nothing. That's the man who goes too far into detachment. He's silent, distant, unreachable. And women don't lean into that either. Why? Because there's no spark, no life. But then picture this, a lantern in the dark. The flame is steady, controlled, protected by glass. It doesn't roar out of control, and it doesn't vanish into nothing. It gives just enough light to guide the way, just enough warmth to make people gather around it. That's the energy women are drawn to. Not overwhelming chaos, not lifeless coldness, controlled fire. And here's where it gets emotional, because I know you felt both sides of this. Maybe you've been the guy who was too much. You cared so deeply that you sent message after message, only to watch her grow distant. You gave everything, only to feel like you were suffocating her. The rejection burned. The frustration was unbearable. Or maybe you've been the guy who was too little. You told yourself, I won't care, I'll play it cool. But in doing so, you froze her out completely. She lost interest because there was nothing for her to connect with. You thought you were protecting yourself, but really, you were just building a wall so high that no one could reach you. And the result? Emptiness. A different kind of pain, the pain of being overlooked. Both extremes leave you stuck. Too much fire, and you scare her away. Too little, and you vanish from her memory. The sweet spot is in the middle, the controlled flame that lights up a room without burning it down. This is why the Stoic principle is so powerful. The Stoics never told us to be emotionless. They told us to master our emotions. Think of your fire as your passion, your desire, your energy. You don't kill it. You don't let it run wild. You channel it. You place it in a lantern where it shines steadily, without destroying. When you master this balance, women feel something rare. They feel your strength, but also your restraint. They sense that you're capable of great passion, but you're not controlled by it. And that combination is intoxicating. It tells her, this man is alive, but he's also in control. Here's the emotional payoff. Controlled fire makes her lean in. She feels safe enough to open up, yet excited enough to stay curious. She doesn't feel like she has to run for safety, and she doesn't feel like she's being left in the cold. She feels drawn to the warmth that only balance creates. And now comes the twist, the curiosity that flips everything you thought you knew. Because here's the part most men miss. Women aren't attracted to you for the reasons you think. It's not about your looks, your car, or even the words you say. It's about how they feel in your presence. Controlled fire creates feelings of security and excitement at the same time. That's the rare balance that makes women remember you long after you've left the room. So here's the challenge for you. Ask yourself, are you burning too hot, chasing so hard that you lose yourself? Or are you freezing too cold, hiding behind attachment and shutting out connection? Because if you're in either extreme, you're losing the very thing that could make you magnetic. The answer isn't to kill your fire, and it isn't to let it consume everything. The answer is to learn to control it, to place it in that lantern, to become the steady flame that women instinctively gather around. And in the next part, we're going to dig even deeper. Because the real secret isn't about the fire at all. It's about something you've probably never considered. The truth that women aren't really attracted to you. They're attracted to how they feel when they're with you. And once you understand that, everything about attraction changes. Up until now, we've been talking about calm, control, and balance. But here's where everything changes. Here's the twist that flips attraction on its head, the piece most men never see coming. Listen carefully. Women aren't truly attracted to you. They're attracted to how they feel when they're around you. That's right. Attraction is not about the details you obsess over, your looks, your clothes, your bank account, or even the smoothness of your words. Those things might get attention, but they don't hold it. What keeps her drawn to you is the way you make her feel in your presence. And this is where Stoic psychology connects perfectly. The Stoics taught that we cannot control the emotions of others. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react that matters." You can't reach into her mind and decide how she feels. But you can control your actions, your state, your presence. And the state you carry influences her experience. Let's make this real. Imagine two scenarios. In the first, you're sitting across from a woman you like. You're nervous, fidgeting, checking your phone every few minutes. You're so worried about impressing her that your words stumble over themselves. You laugh too hard at her jokes. You agree with everything she says. Deep down, you're radiating neediness. And what does she feel? Pressure. Trapped. Drained. It's not your clothes or your words. It's the energy you brought into the room. Now picture the second scenario. Same woman. Same conversation. But this time, you're different. You're calm. You're grounded. You listen fully without rushing to reply. You don't need her approval. You're just present, steady, alive in your own skin. And what does she feel now? She feels safe. She feels seen. She feels like she can relax. Again, it's not about your words. It's about your presence. Here's the emotional truth. Women don't fall for the man. They fall for the version of themselves they experience when they're with the man. If you radiate chaos, she feels unstable. If you radiate calm, she feels secure. If you radiate neediness, she feels suffocated. If you radiate purpose, she feels inspired. This is why two men can look the same on paper, yet one is magnetic while the other is invisible. And let me be blunt here. Chasing, begging, over-explaining, those things don't just fail, they poison the very feeling you want to create. Because when a woman senses that her response decides your mood, she feels burdened. She feels the weight of carrying your worth. And that weight pushes her away. But when you stand tall in who you are, when you're calm and your purpose shine through, she feels light. She feels free. Around you, her world gets bigger, not smaller. That's what makes you unforgettable. Take a moment and let that sink in. Because this realization changes everything. It means you can stop obsessing over tricks, lines, or strategies. It means you can stop comparing yourself to other men. Because attraction isn't about competing with them. It's about the experience you create with her. And here's where the Stoic lesson comes back full circle. You control your actions. You control your state. You control your fire. That's it. You don't control her. You never will. But by mastering yourself, you influence how she feels around you. And that influence is where attraction lives. Now, let's get personal for a second. Think about the last time you were with someone who made you feel fully alive. Maybe it was a friend, a mentor, a leader. They didn't need to try hard. Just being in their presence lifted you. That's the effect you can create when you embody calm and purpose. That's the effect women crave. And here's the mini payoff. It's not about chasing anymore. It's about becoming. The moment you shift from asking, "How do I get her to like me?" to asking, "How can I become the man who radiates calm, strength, and purpose?" That's the moment everything changes. Because women don't want a perfect man. They want a man whose energy makes them feel secure and alive. And that man is built, not begged. So the real challenge is this. Will you keep trying to control her reactions, or will you finally take control of yourself? The first path leaves you drained, chasing shadows. The second path makes you magnetic without effort. And just when you think you've grasped it, there's another layer waiting. Because here's the shocking truth we'll uncover next. The real attraction has less to do with women at all, and more to do with the way you live your life when no one's watching. We've come a long way, and now it's time to bring everything together. You've learned the calm center. You've discovered the controlled fire. You've seen the twist. That attraction is less about you and more about how she feels around you. But what do you do with all of this? Where do you go from here? This is where the choice becomes real. Because here's the truth. You can keep living like most men, chasing, overthinking, hoping, waiting for someone to finally notice you. Or you can step into something higher. You can live with the strength, calm, and purpose that the Stoics modeled, not just for women, but for life itself. And here's what happens when you choose that path. You stop waking up with anxiety about whether she'll text you back. You stop drowning in the noise of comparison, measuring yourself against every other guy on social media. Instead, you wake up with direction. You wake up with peace. You wake up knowing that your worth is already decided by how you live, not by who validates you. Think about the power in that. A man who knows his value isn't desperate. He doesn't settle. He doesn't break at the first sign of rejection. He radiates calm because his life is bigger than a single outcome. And that calm, that strength, that energy, that's what draws people in. Women notice. Friends respect it. Even strangers feel it. Here's the emotional high. Attraction is not something you chase. It's something you become. When you embody discipline, when you cultivate purpose, when you master your fire, you don't just attract women, you attract respect, opportunity, and a life that feels worth living. And this is why I want you to hear me clearly. This journey isn't about tricks, games, or temporary hacks. It's about becoming the man you were meant to be. A man who doesn't beg for attention but naturally commands it. A man who doesn't collapse under rejection but uses it as fuel to grow stronger. A man who doesn't live for approval but lives from a place of unshakable confidence. So here's your call to action. Starting today, stop asking, "What do I say to make her like me?" and start asking, "What kind of man do I need to become to never need to ask that question again?" The Stoics would remind you, control what is in your power and let go of what isn't. Your actions, your habits, your mindset, that's where attraction begins. That's where your power lives. Now, if you've been watching closely, you already know this isn't the end. This is just the beginning. Because the next step is even more surprising. If you thought attraction was about her, wait until you see what happens when you shift your focus entirely inward. In the next video, I'm going to reveal the single daily habit, the one Stoic practice, that makes you instantly more magnetic without you ever saying a word. It's simple, it's repeatable, and it rewires the way people see you. So if you're ready to stop chasing and start becoming, don't miss it. Hit that subscribe button, join this journey, and step into the brotherhood of men who are done begging for attention and ready to live with purpose. Because at the end of the day, attraction isn't just about women. It's about building a life that commands respect, that radiates strength, and that leaves you unforgettable long after you've left the room. The choice is yours. Stay the same, or step into the calm, the fire, and the purpose that makes you magnetic. I'll see you in the next video.